25 Sports welcomes you to Fenway Park, where today the Red Sox and Toronto Blue Jays celebrate the 4th of July on a sweltering day in the final game of this 5-game series. Hello, everyone, and happy holiday. I'm Sean McDonough. Delighted to have you with us as the Red Sox go for their 5th straight win. As a matter of fact, today they're trying to do something that they've done very rarely throughout their history, that is sweep a 5-game series. Of course, they don't play very many 5-game series, but that has been the case this week with the Toronto Blue Jays in town. If the Red Sox win today and sweep the series, it'll be their first 5-game sweep since August of 1989, when they took 5 in a row from the Detroit Tigers. They've accomplished it only 3 other times in their history, only once on the road way back in 1939 against the New York Yankees. I'm joined as always by Jerry Remy. Jerry, there have been some competitive games in this series, but certainly the Red Sox have had the upper hand.
Well, the Red Sox, Sean, have played almost a perfect series here against the Toronto Blue Jays in every aspect of the game. Certainly the 4-0 record, a .276 batting average. It's been a low-scoring series. 17 runs for the Red Sox, only 7 for Toronto. The Red Sox have been stealing some bases. Last night, a couple of key ones in Johnny Damon and, of course, Ricky Henderson late in the game. And look at the starters' ERA, 1.67 in the bullpen, an ERA of 2. Of course, they had Embry come in and save both ends of the day-night doubleheader. Urbina last night to take care of that job. They're catching a team right now, the Toronto Blue Jays, in transition, and the Red Sox will certainly take advantage of it.
Red Sox, with their win last night, hit the halfway point of the season. It was their 81st game of the year. They have 50 wins. They are 50-31. 50 wins at the halfway mark for the first time since 1986. They'll go for win number 51 of the season this afternoon behind Derek Lowe. The starting pitcher is brought to you by Lexus, pursuing perfection. Lowe has been a durable starter, returning this season to the starting rotation. He's pitched into the 7th inning in 10 of his 16 starts. He'll be opposed by the 33-year-old rookie Pete Walker, the former Yukon Husky, with a 2.76 earned run average, second best among American League rookies this year. First pitch on this holiday afternoon at Fenway Park in just a moment. Boston Red Sox baseball is brought to you in part by your New England Ford dealers. For the best selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the planet, visit your local New England Ford dealers or log on to newenglandford.com. By HP Hood, proud sponsor of the Hood Home Team Advantage charity program. By your New England Toyota dealer. What makes Toyota the best value? Ask someone who drives one. By Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. By your friendly New England Dodge dealers. Grab life by the horns. Go Dodge. And by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. Holiday afternoon as the Red Sox took the field at 1:02 for the 1:05 start, and the umpires making them wait for 1:05 to show on the clock. It is 1:05, so here's Dave Berg taking the first pitch of the day from Derek Lowe for strike 1. We're underway. Delighted to have you with us. Hope your holiday is off to a great start. Berg, Eric Hinsky, and Shannon Stewart here in the first against Lowe. Berg lines one in the left. That's a base hit. Falling in front of Brian Daubach. So 2 pitches and a base hit for Berg. Let's give you the rest of the Toronto Blue Jays batting order. Toronto 33-49 for the season. Their lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Berg having a good series and adding to it with that base hit. Then Eric Hinsky to third baseman, Shannon Stewart in left, Carlos Delgado at first base, Jose Cruz Jr. in right field, Vernon Wells the center fielder, Josh Phelps, Ken Huckabee, and Joe Lawrence the bottom third of the order. They are the DH catcher and second baseman respectively. Eric Hinsky looked at strike 1.
Derek Lowe leads the American League in ERA with 2.18, a 193 batting average against, also the best in the league to start this ball game.
A perfect double play ball to short. Nomar steps on second, throws to Jose Hoffman, the first baseman today, for the easy double play. That's about as easy as it gets. Here's the rest of the Red Sox defense. Brian Daubach, Johnny Damon, Trod Nixon in the outfield, Shea Hillenbrand, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Lou Merlone, and Jose Hoffman in the infield from third to first. Jason Varitek behind the plate. Red Sox played good defense in this series. The Blue Jays made 4 errors alone last night. Bill Miller, Bill Hahn, Larry Young, and Field and Culbreth the umpires. Here's Shannon Stewart, the left fielder. He goes after the first one and rolls one through the left side. A ground ball base hit. So 2 hits in the inning, but the double play ball in between. 96 degrees. The game time temperature at 105 on the 4th of July. We celebrate Independence Day in the greatest country in the world, and how fortunate are we to live in the greatest city in America as well.
Might be a few folks come through the city today here at the ballpark, and of course all the festivities tonight. Fireworks displays, pops.
Carlos Delgado hitting .248, 17 homers and 59 runs batted in. Breeze out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour. The flag showing the wind blowing across the field from left to right as the ball game begins. I'd imagine on the field, Jerry, it's over 100 degrees.
Got to be. This has been one warm, muggy series against the Blue Jays.
Swing and a miss. The pitch low and out of the strike zone. 1-1 on Delgado. Red Sox have dominated Toronto. They've won 9 in a row now against this team. Stewart runs. A tough pitch for Varitek. No chance to throw him out. Never did get a grip on the ball. So Shannon Stewart has a stolen base, his 4th of the year, without being caught.
And picked a good pitch. He got the curveball here from Derek Lowe. Lowe fairly slow to the plate, plus the combination of the curveball, and really no chance at all for Jason Varitek. Varitek on the year has thrown out 33% of the runners. A big improvement from a year ago.
2-1 breaking ball is low.
Derek today trying to stop a 2-game losing streak. Losses against LA, last time Atlanta, but pitched very well against the Braves. Only gave up 2 unearned runs. Excuse me, 2 earned runs. The Red Sox lost it 2-1.
And ball 4, as you might expect. The first base open. Lowe pitching carefully to Delgado. The count already in Carlos's favor. So 2 men are on, 3 base runners in the inning, 2 hits and a walk. And here's Jose Cruz Jr. Now the right fielder for Toronto with the trade earlier this week of Raul Mondesi to the Yankees. And a disappointing year for Cruz, hitting .225, 12 homers, 42 runs batted in. He's done very well in his career against Lowe. That pitch looked low, but called a strike. 6 for 13 lifetime. Cruz against Lowe with a home run. Cruz has a home run in this series. Came in the 2nd game of the doubleheader on Tuesday off Sonny Kim. Chopped on the right side. Merlone has to wait for Hoffman to get back to the bag. Jose had started after the bouncing ball. So 3 base runners, but no runs for Toronto in the first after a half inning. No score. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network. Southwest Airlines as the Red Sox look for their 5th straight win in a sweep of this series. They have Johnny Damon in center field leading off. Jose Hoffman at first base. Nomar Garcia-Parra the shortstop. Manny Ramirez the DH today and cleanup hitter. Ryan Daubach starting to get back on track, the left fielder batting 5th. Shea Hillenbrand at third base. Jason Varitek catching. Rod Nixon the right fielder hits 8th, and Lou Merlone the second baseman bats 9th against Pete Walker.
Walker was claimed off waivers from the New York Mets back on May 3rd. He made his first major league start against the Red Sox and had a no decision. Only lasted 3 innings in that ball game as a starter, has a 2-0 record.
He was mostly out of the pen. This is his first start of the year on the road, his 5th start overall. Johnny Damon hitting .307, 5 homers, 39 runs batted in. Bangs one foul in the upper boxes on the right side. Damon on base 5 times last night. As Jerry mentioned at the top of the telecast, he had a couple of stolen bases in the ball game as the Red Sox stole 5 in their win over the Jays last night. Damon was 2 for 2 with a couple of walks. And perhaps starting to turn it around after a very slow homestand. Of course, the highlight of the homestand for Johnny being elected to the All-Star game by the fans as the 30th man in the balloting on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. Delgado to Walker. He did get the bag for the out. Blue Jays are not a very good defensive team. They had 4 errors in last night's game. They're near the bottom of the pile in the American League overall. Shannon Stewart, Vernon Wells, and Jose Cruz Jr. The outfield from left to right. Eric Hinsky, Dave Berg, Joe Lawrence, and Carlos Delgado. The infield from third to first, and Ken Huckabee behind the plate.
Nice play by Delgado here against a very speedy Johnny Damon. Had to lead Walker to the bag. That's not an easy play, especially for the pitcher having to cover first base.
Walker threw strike 1 to Jose Offerman. Jose hasn't seen much playing time lately. 17 for his last 109. The .218 batting average now for the season, as he's hit just .156 over the last 36 games in which he has appeared. Well hit ball. Diving stop by the second baseman Lawrence. Another nice play. So the Jays trying to put the memory of the 4-error game of last night behind them very quickly. Have come out playing well on the right side of the infield here in the first inning.
Joe Lawrence trying to increase his range by going back on that outfield grass. Does so and makes a nice play to take a base hit away from Jose Offerman. They have been sloppy defensively, but not so far in this ball game.
2 outs. The base is empty. We're in the bottom of the first, and the batter is Nomar Garcia Parra, who's hit in 5 straight games. Swing and a miss for strike 1. 316 for Nomar. That's good for 5th in the American League in the batting title race right now. 10 homers and 60 runs batted in. He's also tied for 5th in runs batted in. They'll try the left side of the infield. Berg got rid of it quickly and threw him out. Recognized, honored, award-winning winner of the Edward R. Murrow Award, winner 3 Associated Press Awards, winner Station of the Year and Photographer of the Year, Fox 25 News, winner National Headliner Award, winner of 11 National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Award, recognized, honored, award-winning Fox 25 News.
Batting 6 for the Blue Jays, number 10, the center fielder.
I like the do there on you, Jerry.
Not bad, not bad. I wish I had that much too.
They've declared their independence from boring TV. The quick first inning, no score. Vernon Wells begins the Toronto second. Center fielder against Derek Lowe. Grazed by the pitch. Just brushed his uniform. Lowe looks off into space in disbelief.
5th batter that Derek's hit this season, and just barely getting a piece of that uniform top of Vernon Wells. We'll see if the Blue Jays continue to try to run on Derek Lowe. They got a sinker ball pitcher out there. The more movement you get on the bases, the less chance you have of those double plays.
Here's Josh Phelps. He takes the ball up and in. Phelps, a rookie, hitting .455. He's been up 11 times this year at the major league level with 5 hits. He was the DH last night and went 2 for 4. Picked up his first major league hit here 2 nights ago, a single.
Big time power numbers shown in the minor leagues. 24 home runs before being called up at the AAA level. Had 31 last year in AA baseball.
Hits it down to third. Another double play ball. Hill and Brandon Maloney on to first. The second double play in as many innings turned by the Red Sox.
That's exactly what I was talking about. A ground ball pitcher gets a lot of double plays. You've got to get some guys in motion to try to stay away from that against Derek Lowe. Red Sox have played very, very good defense in this series against Toronto. Hillenbrand giving Maloney time to make the throw and get out of the way of Vernon Wells trying to take him out. The throw's gone, and then the leap over Vernon Wells. You thank your third baseman for getting you that ball in time so you can get out of there.
Here's another rookie, the catcher today, Ken Huckabee, who takes strike one. Huckabee has been up 69 times with 19 hits, a .275 average with 6 runs batted in. Grounded up the middle. Nomar a long way to go. He has it. Nice play. So both teams flashing the leather early in this holiday affair. Tony Clark approves. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network.
Score as we move to the bottom of the second at Fenway. No shortage of rain shown by Nomar Garciaparra on that final out at the top of the second inning. Nomar going far to his left. The spin around move and the strong accurate throw to first base to Offerman to get the out. Infielders love playing behind Derek Lowe. They know they're going to be busy all afternoon.
So no score as the Red Sox get ready to come up here in the bottom of the second. Manny Ramirez to lead off, then Brian Daubach and Shea Hildenbrand. Manny hitting .345 for the year, 9 homers, 37 runs batted in. Starting to pick it up now after a slow return from the disabled list. He's now 8 for 32 since coming back from the DL on June 25th after he missed 39 games with his fractured left index finger. Facing Pete Walker, who missed outside with ball 1. And he's 3 for his last 6, 2 for 4 yesterday. A ball, 2-0. Walker's 21st appearance, his 5th start. The former New York Met played 3 seasons at the University of Connecticut in the late 80s. Another picture of perseverance. When Daubach's up there, it'll be Daubach against Walker. That'll be a matchup of 2 guys with a lot of minor league time going head to head against each other. 3-1 now as Manny took the 3-0 pitch.
Both those guys probably in the Mets organization at the same time.
Ball 4. So the Red Sox have their first base runner. Blue Jays claimed Walker off waivers from the Mets on May 3rd. He got into 1 game at the major league level with the Mets this year. 2 games last year, but most of his time down at Norfolk of the International League. Has not lost as a major league pitcher. 4-0 in the majors. Here's Brian Daubach hitting .251, 10 homers, 35 runs batted in. Strike 1 on Daubach. As we mentioned during the starting lineups, Daubach starting to pick it up after a lengthy slump. 4 for his last 8. He had 3 hits a couple of days ago in 1 game. Just his second multiple hit game in 29 games. He hit 149 in June. He's in the hole here, 0-2. We talk about 50 wins at the halfway mark, Jerry, and you have to give the Red Sox a lot of credit. They had a losing month of June, still at 50 wins. They had a lot of players who were scuffling. They were without Manny Ramirez a long time, without Dustin Hermanson the whole year. Grady Little certainly deserves a lot of credit. He's more than satisfied with the record at this juncture, given everything that's happened. Only 1 game behind the Yankees. We're also playing well lately. They've won 5 of their last 6.
Only real struggle for the Red Sox was against some very good National League teams.
Daubach pulls 1 foul.
And of course, most of that time played without Ramirez, and also played without Ray Sanchez at second base. They certainly could have made a difference in some of those games against the National League. We get kind of back into a easier schedule now for a while for the Red Sox.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out. The lead man on. Ramirez at first. Delgado playing a little bit behind him. And as a result, he almost threw the ball away. Here's somebody in the Red Sox dugout calling for a balk on that play.
Yeah, that has been called a balk in the past. When that first baseman is behind the runner right there, I mean, that's supposed to be a balk. There was no play being put on there. It was almost thrown away by the pitcher. Why are they throwing over there against Ramirez? They did it last night. They threw a ball away and a run scored.
Down and in. That's frequently where Dahlbach will swing and miss for strike 3. Blue Jays well aware of that. So Walker gets Dahlbach for the first out of the inning. And it's the first strikeout of the game for Pete Walker.
Batting 6, number 29, the third baseman.
Some type of off-speed pitch. I'm not sure a slider or a changeup, but good enough to get the strikeout against Dahlbach. The reason that would be called a balk is for throwing to an unoccupied base. There was no fielder there to take that throw. Delgado made it look good by chasing that ball toward the bag, so that's probably why it was not called.
Shea Hillenbrand takes a strike. He's been slumping. 6 for 36 on the homestand. That's a 167 clip to drop his season average below the 300 mark. 298, 13 homers, 51 runs batted in. The power numbers have already surpassed Shea's totals of his rookie year of last season. 0-2 the count. Last 8 games, Shea is hitting 125. Elected the all-star starting third baseman for the American League in just his second season in the majors. He'll get the start in Milwaukee on Tuesday night. One of 7 Red Sox now who'll be going to the game. Pretty good pitch, called the ball by Bill Miller. 1-2.
It's a lot of players from one team. They don't have to charter their own flight to get out for that all-star game.
Only once in their history have the Red Sox had more all-stars. That was in 1946 when 8 Red Sox players participated. Hit on the ground to second. Lawrence to Berg off his glove and out into shallow left field. Another miscue by the Blue Jays. Well, it might have been a double play ball. The throw from Lawrence looked okay, but it tipped off the glove of Berg and wound up in shallow left.
Yeah, the throw's a little bit high, but certainly one that could have been handled by the shortstop. You like it about letter high to the chest high. That one just above the head, but certainly he took his eye off it as he tried to make that play, trying to pick up the runner, and right off the top of the glove. So a break there for the Red Sox. They've had a few breaks in this series.
And they did give the error to Berg. Hillenbrand reaches on a fielder's choice, and the error charged to Berg, the first error of the ball game. We'll see if the Red Sox can capitalize again. Jason Varitek 0 for 4 yesterday. Had an 8-game hitting streak snap, the longest of his season. Jason hitting .266 for the year. 6 homers and 30 runs batted in. Ball 2. And you have a pitching staff without a lot of experience that has struggled for much of the year. The Blue Jays were the worst pitching staff in the American League. Staff ERA has come down to 4.92. Better than only Texas, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City now in the American League. Certainly doesn't help the program when you don't field well either. Walks have been a problem for this pitching staff. They've walked a league high 316 coming into today's game, and you can add the walk to Ramirez to that total. Carlos Tosca, now the manager, took over earlier this season when Buck Martinez was let go by the new general manager J.P. Ricciardi. Swing and a miss. Varitek had the green light on 3-0.
Maritek looking for something that he can drive on that 3-0 count. Just swung right through the fastball. No contact.
Foul tip for strike 2. 3-2. Tried Nixon to follow. They're in the second inning, no score, but the Red Sox were threatening with 2 men on and 1 out.
Manny's got more attention in the series than Murray Wills would have gotten.
Maybe they think he's Ricky Henderson.
3-2 count, thinking they may have the runners off on the 3-2 count. Little fake, and Manny dives back in.
Hit slowly is short. Berg throws him out. Well, the runners move up. Ramirez is to third. Hillenbrand to second.
Well, it's early in the game. Let's see if they walk Nixon with first base open and take their chances with Merlone. He should have been out of this inning with a double play. Instead, he's already had to make 6 more pitches than he would have had to in very warm conditions.
Nixon hitting .255. That average has been coming up. It's another reason why you would think they might put him on, or at least pitch very carefully to him. With first base open and the right-handed hitter on deck. Trout's 19 for his last 55. That's a .345 batting average. He's hit safely in 12 of his last 15. Four for 14 in this series, with a couple of runs batted in. Just outside, 1-1. Carlos Tosca became their manager a month ago on June 3rd. A strike, 1-2. He's a native of Cuba. 5th Cuban manager in the major leagues. Mike Gonzalez, Preston Gomez, Tony Perez, and Cookie Rojas the others. Tosca with no professional playing experience, majors or minors. He's just the 6th major league manager without any professional playing experience. The first since John Bowles, who managed the Marlins. I count Ted Turner in that list. 1-2 pitch. Little lob, shallow right center, in for a hit. 2-run score, and the Red Sox lead 2-0. Well, they did pitch to Nixon with first base open and a right-handed hitter on deck. And it's early in Carlos Tosca's tenure here as manager, but there are a lot of things in this series about his managing that you can question.
I would agree, Sean. You know, a lot of times early in a game, they don't like to intentionally walk guys because it turns that lineup over again. But the fact is, you know, you got first base open there. Nixon's been swinging the bat well. You take your shot against Merlone. Instead, Nixon makes him pay. 2-0 game.
On the afternoon game of the doubleheader the other day, he was complaining that Jose Cruz was too shallow with Lou Merlone up there. Well, you've got the manager and all those coaches in the dugout. Why didn't one of them say something?
Well, in their defense, I'll say this. I've seen a number of occasions in this series where somebody has been trying to move outfielders, and they have not even been looking into the dugout.
Well, you know,
so there's something wrong there,
too. The dugout if you have to. Shoot off in the spirit of the 4th of July, some fireworks or bottle rockets. Get their attention. Here is Merlone. They're playing a lot deeper for him today. 1-1 the count on Lowe. Hitting .262, a homer and 10 runs batted in. He had the game-winning 2-run triple in the Red Sox 2-1 win in the first game of the doubleheader, the split doubleheader here on Tuesday. That snapped an 0 for 19 drought for Merlone. 2-1 now.
I was stunned last night when he took Halladay out of the ballgame. Now here's a kid that was out there pitching in 100-degree weather, pitched a great game. Right, he comes out in the 7th, gets 2 quick outs, and then he goes to a left-hander to get Johnny Damon. Instead of getting a chance to get one more out, get him in the dugout, maybe they can go back and get a win for him. That's something I don't think going to sit very well with that pitcher. I mean, he's an all-star pitcher. I thought he deserved to try to get that final out of that inning.
And you're taking your best player on your team out of the game.
I mean, his pitch count was up over 100, and it was a very warm night. But he got 2 easy outs in the inning, 1 to go, and he's got a chance to win the game.
Wild swing and a miss on a pitch well off the plate. 2 strikeouts in the inning, but the error again hurts the Blue Jays, and Nixon makes them pay. After 2-0 Boston, you're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network. Sox observe the 4th of July. And now live at Fenway. Servicemen and women out in the bleachers trying to stay cool in uniform. On a day that has to be right around the 100-degree mark now is 96 at the first pitch. Joe Lawrence the batter. Derek Lowe pitching with a 2-0 lead after 2 unearned runs scored by the Red Sox. 195 for Lawrence, 2 homers and 10 runs batted in. Jerry, right now you feel like you're watching the Red Sox play the Syracuse Sky Chiefs, the Blue Jays AAA team. There are a lot of young, inexperienced, unfamiliar names on this Toronto squad right now.
Big project ahead of them here. They're obviously dumping Kamsara. It's certainly the case in Mondesi going to the Yankees, trying to add young players. They've got one good one in Eric Hinsky at third base. He's a very impressive rookie player.
Close, but a ball. 2-2.
Tom Gilmet, who is our cameraman up on high left field, had a thermometer up there that said 106 about an hour ago.
Chopped up the middle. Garcia fired off Offerman for the out. Lowe has them pounding the ball into the ground. Every out recorded so far off the Toronto bats is coming a ground ball. Tom catching some rays up there on the roof.
106.
What's up? Wow. Up about 108 now, it looks like. I can't read that thing. I go by Celsius anyway.
It's up over 100.
It's over 100. Is that on the roof, that thermometer?
I think that's up in that area where he is, yeah.
Dave Berg singled, leading off the game, was erased on the double play ball hit into by Hinsky. A lot of the players said Tuesday that that was the warmest it's ever been for them on the field at Fenway. Tim Wakefield talked about that. Nixon, a nice running catch. First out made by the Jays on a ball hit in the air. They're playing splendid defense behind Derek Lowe so far today.
Todd Nixon made a great play last night in that game. He was playing center field, and Daubach lost the ball in the twilight. Nixon came from center field all the way in front of the Red Sox bullpen to make the play. Another terrific play here. Outfielders really have to stay alert because they don't get much action when Derek Lowe's pitching. Certainly the advantage here of being a left-handed outfielder, just reaching out and making the play after covering the ground.
Eric Hinsky nubbed one foul behind the plate. He grounded into the double play. 6-3 in the first inning. We talk about all the salary dumping the Blue Jays are doing, and clearly that's what they're doing. They say they lost $50 million Canadian last year. Earlier this season, the major leagues gave them a $5 million handout to help offset the damage done to their finances by the difference in the value of the Canadian dollar and the U.S. dollar. Most of what they take in is in Canadian dollars, and most of what they pay out is in American dollars. It's hard to make it work with that formula. Hinsky is one of the few prospects they seem to have gotten in return. God bless America. God bless all of you. Hope you're having a wonderful 4th of July. The Red Sox lead 2-0. Tonight on Fox 25, it's a brand new season of Beyond Belief, with all new stories that will question the unbelievable, explore the unexplainable, and challenge you to decide which stories are true and which are beyond belief. 2 all-new hours tonight at 8 on Fox 25. Top of the order for the Red Sox. They got 2 unearned runs last inning against Pete Walker. They lead 2-0. And Johnny Damon took a ball outside. Johnny grounded to the first baseman Delgado with Walker covering. And he has a hit. Ringing single in the straightaway center. Well, that was one of the great moments of the season here at Fenway Park the other night, Jerry, when after all the votes were tabulated, it was announced to the crowd on the scoreboard that Johnny had been elected by the fans as the 30th man. And Johnny realized that a lot of the fans in attendance helped his cause by logging on to MLB.com, and he tipped his hat to the fans and paid tribute to them with his comments after the game, and the fans gave him a terrific ovation.
Not only great from the fans' point of view, but you could tell the genuine happiness of his teammates. They found out prior to that announcement going up on the board, and they were all giving him big hugs in the dugout. And you could see how happy Johnny Damon was and how happy his teammates were for him.
He has been a very good player, but this will be his first trip to the All-Star game. Offerman chops one foul. Another great moment was last night when Tony Clark got the big hit that turned out to be the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's been a struggle, obviously, for Tony all year long, and when he left for a pinch runner, the fans chanted Clark's name, and he expressed his gratitude after the game to the fans for sticking with him through his prolonged difficult times. There's a strike. I think fans realize, because of all they've heard and read and what they've heard directly from Tony and his comments through the electronic media, this is a good man who's working very hard at it. He's not laying down on the job by any means. He's desperate to succeed, but has handled himself with all class, even during a difficult time for him.
You got that exactly right, and I think that's why the crowd has responded the way they have to Tony Clark. Even though he's had his problems, they want him to do good.
And over the last 4 games, 5 was last 9. That's why I was a little bit surprised today, Jerry, that Offerman was in the lineup and Clark was not. Maybe a chance to keep Tony going on a hot streak.
I was a little bit surprised too. The only thing I can say is, you know, on and off he's had some problems with his back, and maybe giving him the day off today after playing the last couple.
Damon with a good lead. Bluffs towards second. Offerman dumps it into shallow center. Another hit. Damon to second. So back-to-back hits to begin the 3rd for the Red Sox.
Jose Offerman has faced Walker now 3 times. He's 2 for 3 with a home run against Walker. This reaches out on a ball that might have been off the outside edge and punches it into center field for the base hit.
Here's Garcia Parra. The Red Sox try to add to this 2-0 lead in the 3rd. Nomar grounded to short to end the 1st inning. Ball 1 outside. Nomar 0 for his last 8 with men in scoring position, but still hitting .356. He's 9th in the American League with that .356 batting average. Walker a spin toward second, but neither Lawrence nor Burr at the bag. Bounced foul behind the plate. 1-1. Johnny Damon, the runner at second. He singled to center. Offerman's at first. He also singled to center. 1-1 pitch hammered into left center. He left it out over the plate, and Nomar did not miss it all the way to the wall through the gap. Damon has scored. They'll hold Offerman with nobody out. A double for Garciaparra, and a 3-0 Boston lead.
Doubles have really been a specialty for Nomar this season. That's his 28th now on the season. Ties him with Garrett Anderson for second place. 2 behind Soriano. Got a little slider there right out over the plate and quickly drove it in that left center field gap. And with nobody out, Coverage not taking any chances, holding up Jose Offerman at third base. Chance for a big inning for the Red Sox.
A 6-game hitting streak now for Garciaparra. 3 straight hits. They had just 1 hit entering the inning. And the new pitching coach, Gil Patterson, paid a visit to the mound. Patterson was the bullpen coach when the year began under Buck Martinez. A couple of days after Martinez was fired, Cookie Rojas, the bench coach, and Mark Connor, the pitching coach, resigned as a display of loyalty to their friend Martinez. So they moved Patterson from the bullpen to the dugout as the pitching coach. 2 men in scoring position for Manny Ramirez. A chance to break it open early here on the 4th of July. Manny took a borderline strike.
First base open again here, although Manny not swinging the bat right now the way he did obviously before the injury.
Ramirez walked and scored the first of the 2 Red Sox runs last inning. Grounded foul over by the Toronto dugout.
Prior to the broken finger, this was an automatic intentional walk.
Carlos Tosca last managed in the Braves organization, their AAA club in Richmond, where Grady Little also once managed. Spent a couple of years as a bench coach in Arizona with Buck Showalter. He's actually here in the ballpark today, and the ESPN broadcast booth. This game being broadcast to a couple of markets around the country on ESPN as one of their backup games. There's Buck Showalter, the former Yankee and Diamondback manager. Strike 3. Manny swung at a bad ball there to whiff for the first out of the inning.
Quickly got ahead of him and then threw the ball off the outside part of the plate. Got Manny to chase. Now looking at Showalter, 2 things come to mind. First of all, one of the great scenes this year was him trying to take out Harold Reynolds on SportsCenter, breaking up a double play, sliding in his suit on the floor.
He went in hard to Harold Reynolds.
He really did.
Reynolds pretty hard onto the studio floor.
And the other thing is, why is he not managing? You would think somebody would have hired him by now.
I think he'll get another chance.
Certainly.
Sometimes the reputation starts to hurt you. And in Arizona, we all heard and read the stories that he was too much of a control freak, concerned about everything, including how high players' socks were and that sort of thing. But I think he is a very well-regarded baseball person, and you would think that he would get another shot at it if that's what he wants. He's better on TV than most people thought he was going to be, because he kind of had that reputation as a not very vocal guy when he managed. People thought he's going to stink on TV, but I liked him on
He does a nice job.
Baseball Tonight show.
Yep.
After the intentional walk to Daubach, the bases are loaded with 1 out for Shea Hillenbrand. He reached on a fielder's choice. He hit what easily could have been a double play ball, but the second baseman Lawrence threw to Dave Berg, the shortstop. Berg missed the throw for an error. Pop up off the end of the bat. Infield fly rule in effect. Hillenbrand was automatically out for the second out. Lawrence caught it anyway. So Hillenbrand up there, first ball swinging. It's obvious, Jerry, he's not been anywhere near as patient recently as he was at the start of the year. Did not walk in the month of June. I chatted with Dwight Evans yesterday, Red Sox hitting coach, about that. He said he doesn't care if Hillenbrand walks or not, and he's talked with Shea about that. as long as Hillenbrand is swinging at good pitches.
Yeah, and that's what happened right there, Sean. A little bit anxious with the bases loaded and didn't get a pitch really that he could drive on the first pitch. A breaking ball away and the little pop-up.
So Red Sox with a chance for a big inning. Walker trying to get out of the difficulty with just the 1 run allowed. He'll do that if he can get Varitek, the 7th batter of the inning, who took a ball up and in. Jason grounded a short last inning. Three runs, 4 hits for Boston. No runs, 2 hits, and an error for Toronto. A ball up and away from Walker, who was born in Beverly, Massachusetts. Went to East Lyme High School in Connecticut. Lives in Waterford, Connecticut now. On this very warm afternoon, he has thrown 58 pitches. And he is not yet out of the 3rd. When you're averaging about 20 pitches per inning, it's not a good thing. First, the defense let him down last inning. If you beat Walker, it's 3-0, and you have to throw a strike.
Yeah, this is not a good thing. 3-0 with the bases loaded.
Varitek went to 3-0 last inning, got the green light and swung and missed. No chance to swing at that one. Ball 4 up and away. He walks in a run. 4-0 is Offerman is across the plate. Now we mentioned the walks. They lead the league in walks. And Walker's thrown 3 already, although one of them was the intentional pass ordered by Tosca a moment ago.
Coming into the game, he was not too bad. 13 walks, 30 strikeouts, and 42 1/3. It's certainly trouble here in this game.
31st RBI of the year for Varitek. Here's Nixon. All 5 in a row, so that'll bring the catcher Huckabee to the mound. Trott singled into right center to drive in 2 runs with 2 outs last inning. They haven't named Carlos Tosca interim manager. He's the manager, but thought is that he's the manager for the rest of this year, and then the Blue Jays are likely to look around. And the name Ken Maka has come up a lot, the bench coach in Oakland, because J.P. Ricciardi came to the Toronto organization from Oakland, where he had been an assistant to Billy Beane, the GM.
We had JP on the other night, Sean, and he mentioned the fact he didn't want to name him interim. He felt like if he gave him just a complete title of manager, you get more respect from your players, knowing that, you know, they're just not waiting for somebody to come in next week to take over the club.
The 1-1 to Nixon. Chopped down the first base line. He's hoping it bounces foul, and it does. He got a nice break. It hit right on the edge of the grass and kicked sharply into foul territory.
I've never played golf with you, but people tell me that reminds them of one of your putts. Starts out in the right direction, but there's kicks right.
Yeah, and misses the mark badly. Looked like one of my drives, actually, the way that sliced dramatically at the end.
Looks like it's going to be a fair ball here, but a lot of spin on it, and not even close to being a fair ball. And Trot Nixon very pleased about that.
Offering his thanks with a look skyward, so another chance for Trot. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Action in the bullpen. Corey Thurman, the right-hander, warming up. 26 pitches in this inning from Walker. It's a long time to be out there on this mound on this day. He missed outside 2-2. The Red Sox lead 4-0. The bases are loaded with 2 outs in the 3rd. And the 2-2 from Walker to Nixon. Hit in the fair territory this time. Delgado will play it himself. Walker did not get out of the way and almost got steamrolled by Delgado. The Red Sox get 2. Nomar drove in the first with a ringing double. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network. Major League record. 8 games in a row with a homer, held by Dale Long of Pittsburgh back in 1956. The Yankees, Don Mattingly in 1987, and Ken Griffey Jr., who was then with Seattle in 1993. Thome is 0 for 1 today against Mike Messina down at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees lead that game 2-1. The Indians are on the slide. They've lost 4 in a row in 11 of 15, despite the heroics of Thome, who did not make the All-Star team, not selected as a reserve by Joe Torre, nor did he win the 30th man online balloting. Shannon Stewart up there against Derek Lowe, now pitching with a 4-0 lead. Stewart singled to left and stole second in the first. He was stranded. He's quickly behind in the count, 0-2. In the dirt.
Pretty tough league, Sean, when you lead the league with 26 home runs and you have 60 RBI
and you can't make the All-Star team.
Of course, Giambi and Paul Konerko at his position also having terrific years.
Sweeney,
Mike Sweeney. The ball 3-2, so from 0-2 to 3-2. Of course, every team has to be represented. The Indians have Omar Vizquel on the team, and perhaps you could make the case Joe Torre didn't need 5 shortstops, and Thome could have gone ahead of Vizquel. Look out. Fouled into the roof boxes on the right.
I think Torre wanted to obviously get Vizquel on there to credit him for all the great years he's had defensively, which sometimes comes overlooked in today's game of baseball. It's all about offense, and this guy's been the best defensive shortstop for a long time.
In the air, shallow right center, and it will fall. Played by Nixon on a hop. So Stewart battled out of the 0-2 hole, and he's 2 for 2 today.
Since Stewart's dropped to the number 3 spot in the order, he's getting a lot of hits. 3 hits last night, 2 for 2 today.
Number 25, the first baseman.
It's the 3rd hit for Toronto.
Delgado.
All of them singles. Here's Carlos Delgado, who walked and was stranded in the first. The only walk given up by Lowe. Strike 1 on Delgado. The walk, no big surprise. It was the 60th time he's walked this year. Just 1 behind Jim Thome, the league leader. The ball. Veritek thought about a throw down to first. This is consecutive game number 407 for Delgado. That is the franchise record for Toronto. He broke that record earlier in this series. The first game of the doubleheader here on Tuesday was consecutive game number 404 for Delgado, breaking the mark of 403 straight games by Tony Fernandez. In the majors, only Luis Gonzalez of Arizona has a longer active consecutive game streak with 410.
And they have a way to go to catch Ripken.
Yes, they do. They're not yet planning the ceremonies. Jose Cruz Jr. on deck. Shift on for Delgado. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, so he walks again. And the first 2 men are on here in the 4th. This is not a good offensive team Lowe is facing today. The Blue Jays 12th in the American League with a 246 average. 9th in runs scored. They do hit home runs. They've hit 97. That's 4th in the American League. Cruz drops down a bunt. Lowe goes to first, off him and off the bag. Cruz might have beaten the play anyway. So that loads the bases and gets the tying run to the plate. The bunt hit for Cruz.
Yeah, not sacrificing there, bunting for a base hit to try to load the bases. They need base runners, and a beautiful job right down that third base line. Derek Lowe with a nice play, but Cruz runs very well and he beats it at first base.
Number 10, the center fielder, Vernon Wells.
Let's pause for station identification on the Fox 25 Red Sox television network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on WABI TV Bangor.
Vernon Wells, the batter. Tying run at the plate with nobody out in the fourth, and Derek Lowe missed. Wells hit by a pitch that barely grazed the front of his uniform in the second inning. He's just 3 for his last 15. Lowe scuffling a little bit here. The count is 2-0 now. Single by Stewart, a walk to Delgado, the bunt hit by Cruz. Derek's been all over the place in this inning. Hit in the hole, base hit. 1 run will score. They'll hold Delgado with nobody out, and down by 3 runs now as Stewart came across the plate. Wells with an RBI.
And the control, a little bit of a trouble here for Derek Lowe. He's walked a couple of guys, hit a batter, fallen behind in some counts. Got the ground ball there, but perfect location between Hillenbrand and Garcia-Parra.
Number 17, the designated hitter, Josh Phelps.
So the tying run is aboard with nobody out. Go ahead run at the plate. Josh Phelps, the rookie, grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the second inning. Phelps rips it to left. That'll be over the head of Daubach off the bottom of the scoreboard. Delgado scores with Cruz right behind him. It's 4-3. A wall single for Phelps.
And watching Phelps the last couple of games, it looks like he's got that slight uppercut swing, which would be a good matchup for him against Derek Lowe. And the sinker ball, that was a rope. Hit very hard over the head of Brian Daubach in left field and right off the scoreboard. Not much time at all for Daubach to react out there, and all of a sudden it's back to a one-run game. Still nobody out here in the fourth inning.
Those are the first career RBIs for Josh Phelps, a 24-year-old rookie.
Number 20, the catcher, Ken Huckabee.
First RBIs this season. He picked up 1 last year in 8 games with Toronto at the end of the year. I believe they announced that it was his first major league RBI over the press box intercom, but he did have one according to the media guide last year.
He didn't have a hit, but he did have an RBI.
So all of a sudden they have the tying run in scoring position. Go ahead run at first. Huckabee, the number 8 hitter, tried to bunt and looked at a strike. Ryan Butterfield is their third base coach. Tosca had been the third base coach. Chop to second. Maloney to Garcia-Parra for the out. Finally the first out of the inning after 5 men in a row had reached. Huckabee aboard on a fielder's choice. That does get the tying run to third. Wells there with 1 out.
No rush by Maloney. He knew there was no chance at all of turning over a double play. The ball just not hit hard enough, so just slow things down, make sure they got the force play at second.
Baseman, Joe Lawrence.
Playing a double play, Det, but no way on that type of ground ball you're going to get the deuce. So Lou just makes sure he makes a good throw to Nomar to get the 1 out instead of trying to rush it.
There's Joe Lawrence, the number 9 man in their batting order today. Curveball for a strike. Lawrence grounded to short last inning. Blue Jays are out hitting the Red Sox now 6-4, but Boston still leads 4-3. The inning started with the Sox up 4-0. Looked pretty comfortable with Derek Lowe, who might be the starting pitcher for the American League in the All-Star game, on the mound against a team that is having a very difficult season, but the Blue Jays have battled here for 3 runs in this inning and are looking for more with the count 1-1 now.
Those are unusual numbers there for Derek Lowe.
Huckabee not likely to be running.
Unless it's a hit and run situation, and it looked like he might have been leaning a little bit towards second base. Another set of signs thrown down by Butterfield down at third base.
High chopper. They'll have to hurry to get 2. There's 1 on the first. Not in time. It's a tie game. Wells in from third. Ball was a high chopper, hit slowly down to Hillenbrand. It gave Huckabee time to get in on Merlone, send him flying, and Lawrence beat it at first to tie up the ball game as Joe Lawrence has his 11th run batted into the year.
Huckabee did a good job cleaning out Merlone at second base. Once again, the ball not hit hard enough, but here comes Huckabee, and Merlone knows he has to get rid of the ball quickly. Can't get much on it when you get cleaned out like that. Good hustle by the man on first base. That's your job. You've got to go down there first and third, try to break up the double play. You get a run out of it.
The pitch out. Lawrence not running. Veritek threw down to Offerman, but Lawrence back standing. So it's a new game. Red Sox and Blue Jays tied at 4. In the 8th batter of the inning is Dave Berg, who looked at ball 1 on the pitch out. He singled in the first, fly to right in the third. In that game at New York, where the Yankees are leading Cleveland 2-1, Raul Mondesi has homered. He's had an immediate positive impact for the Bronx Bombers. Derek Jeter left that game with an apparent left leg injury, and we get more details about that. We'll pass them along. Grounded to third. Hillenbrand to Offerman. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays get 4 runs on 4 hits and a walk. And in the 4th, on the 4th of July, they're tied at 4. By your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. Category today, infield hits. The Seattle Mariners lead the American League in that category, but the running Red Sox are second with 81 infield hits this year. And among individual players, Ichiro, as you might expect, has the most infield hits. A major reason why the Mariners lead the league. And Johnny Damon's 20 pacing the Red Sox. League leaders brought to you by your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. On the 4th, in the 4th, the Red Sox and Blue Jays tied at 4. The Red Sox had a 4-0 lead, but Toronto just struck 4 runs in the top of the inning. So here's Lou Merlone against Pete Walker. Knee-high strike. Merlone struck out swinging in the 2nd. Johnny Damon to follow, and then Jose Offerman. Walker's given up 4 runs, only 2 earned on 4 hits. He's walked 3, 1 intentional, and has struck out 3. He's even now with Merlone, 1-1. A former UConn Husky pitching to a former Providence College Friar. Check swing and a roller down to first. Delgado bobbled it for a moment. And looked like he was determined to run over Walker again. This time Walker smart enough to at least take 1 step away from the bag to get out of the way. Walker held his hands up as if to say, you're not going to get me this time.
A little trouble with the communication between first baseman and pitcher, and I think for Walker's best interest, you want to kind of slide away from Carlos. I wouldn't want to get into a collision with Carlos. I think he's going to win that battle.
Johnny Damon checks his swing and takes a strike. Johnny singled leading off last inning and scored the first of the 2 Red Sox runs that crossed the plate in the third. Boston got 2 unearned runs in the second, 2 more in the third. Ball wide, 1-1. Damon said after he edged Jim Thome in the voting the other night that he'd give up his spot in the All-Star game for Thome if Thome would agree to a trade to come to the Red Sox.
Is that collusion?
Borderline strike 3 at the knees. 2 outs. 4 strikeouts now for Walker.
Generally, on these very warm days, umpires have a tendency to have very big strike zones because they're as uncomfortable back there as anybody else.
Well, probably more so than anybody else in the park. They have the worst job today, wearing all that equipment, standing in the blazing sun. At least the players get to go off the field for a while into the dugout, up into the clubhouse if they want to. The catchers can take their equipment off. But at home plate umpires back there with all the equipment on and out there all day. 1 strike on Jose Offerman. Didn't catch all of that. Wells should catch it and does. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Pete Walker. 4-4 after 4 on the 4th. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network. The 5th inning form. In addition, the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox. Bryant Nelson has come in to play second base for Lou Merlone. We'll get you a report from the clubhouse as to why Lou left the game. He did have that collision at second base trying to turn double play, but maybe it's just the heat too.
He also fouled the ball off his foot in the ball game last night pretty bad early in the game, so that could be it too. One more look at the double play at second, the attempted double play. Might have fell on his wrist as he landed uncomfortably.
He has the look on his face though like maybe the heat is just getting to him. Although if it was the heat, you'd think he'd be up in the clubhouse.
Or have one of those cold towels wrapped around his head.
Well, in any event, doesn't appear to be anything serious with Lou sitting there not receiving any medical attention. Eric Hinske is grounded out twice, once into a double play. Hinske, Stewart, and Delgado coming up. Jay sent 8 men up there against Lowe last inning and scored their 4 runs on 4 hits and a walk. Hinske, the only man who did not bat. Bounces the 2-0 off the glove of Offerman to Nelson to Lowe. A low throw. And Derek fielded it. He's saying to the first base umpire Bill Hahn, what was the problem? I caught it. I was on the bag. But Bill Hahn says no, and there is no argument from Grady Little.
Maybe Hinske just beat the play down at first base. It was a heck of a play by Derek Lowe. He picks it on the 1 hop after deflection off Offerman. Nelson there to make the throw. Now I believe this ball bounces. A heck of a play there, but yeah, he just beat it at first base. He did get the bag, did Lowe, but the play was beat by Eric Hinske. How about that play by Derek Lowe though on the backhand? Pretty good.
It's an infield hit for Hinske. 7 hits now for Toronto. A pop up straight up. Veritek doesn't see it, and it's going to land right next to him. Stewart popped it straight up in the air and not very high. Veritek was looking around and couldn't find it. Offerman and Lowe came charging in, but it was too late. It looks like Veritek still doesn't realize what happened.
Well, what happened is the pop-up went straight up and the bat went flying into the stands down here near third base. And you have to wonder if that distracted Jason Veritek. He just couldn't find the pop-up.
If he had caught the bat, would that have counted?
He didn't even look in that direction where the bat had gone. He just didn't see the pop up at all. Hoffman makes a nice effort. Lowe is there, but they can't make the play.
But it didn't even look like he was trying that hard to find it, as if he assumed the ball was out of play. So it wasn't like he was looking frantically left and right or looking for help. He just kind of stood there with a confused expression. Still shaking his head to say, what was that all about? You don't see that very often. A pop-up that lands right next to the catcher. Lowe and Hoffman realized quickly that Jason couldn't see it, but by the time they got in there, they didn't have time to catch it. It didn't go very high. Up and in. 1-1 on Stewart. Red Sox don't want to give anybody another chance, but particularly not this guy today. He's 2 for 2. Started their 4-run rally last inning with a single and scored the first of the 4 runs. He singled to left in the first and stole the base. A double play ball. Garcia-Parra onto Offerman. The third double play turned by the Red Sox. The second of that variety. That was almost identical to the ball hit by Hinsky right to Garcia-Parra near the bag back in the first. That resulted in a double play.
And finally they get Shannon Stewart out. Perfect here for Nomar. He's going toward that second base bag. Couple of extra steps, tag the bag, and get Stewart by 4 or 5 at first base. Now, Sean, we look at players as robots sometimes and not realizing these conditions, how hot it is, and what happens is you get fatigued. And when you get fatigued, your concentration level isn't quite as sharp as it normally is. And sometimes you see some mental mistakes in this type of conditions.
Are you saying something? Carlos Delgado has walked twice. He scored after walking last inning. For a guy who runs well, Stewart hits into a lot of double plays. That's the 10th that he has grounded into. Look out. Little chin music. 1-1 on Delgado.
Now Stewart's also, here's the pitch by Lowe that gets away up and in. Stewart does not strike out a lot. Delgado saying something out there to Derek Lowe. But Stewart doesn't strike out much. He hits a lot of ground balls up the middle, and generally those are the kind of guys that get doubled up a lot.
2 outs, the base is empty, 5th inning. 4-4 the score. 2-1 now. Lowe's had a lot more pitches than usual today. They've just been way off, which would again lead you to believe that the heat could be affecting him. That's only natural. Probably tough to get a good grip on the ball all the time here too. He has to be sweating like everybody else. I chatted with Derek a couple of days ago. He said he didn't know when the decision would be made about who would start the All-Star game. He would like to start. Of course, he went 2 years ago and pitched 1 inning, the 6th inning. What a thrill that would be. That is a rare honor. There aren't many pitchers who can say they've started an All-Star game. He's just happy to be going. And he's out of the inning on a strikeout. That's the first of the ball game for Derek Lowe after 4.5. 4-4 the score.
Introducing
4 here at Fenway. For the 2nd consecutive season, H.B. Hood and the Boston Red Sox have teamed up to benefit Boston area hospitals through the Hood Home Team Advantage charity program. During every home game, every time the Red Sox strike out an opponent, make a double play or hit a home run, the Hood bottle on the right field roof lights up, signaling a $100 donation to be divided among 13 New England children's charities. So far this year, it's been about $30,000 that has been donated.
Well, let's hope that Hood bottle lights up a few more times today. Nomar went after the first one, popped it up off the end of the bat. The shortstop Berg has it in shallow center. 1 out on 1 pitch. Garcia-Parra 1 for 3. He doubled to drive in a run in the 3rd. They came all the way from Iowa. How about some cold frosty ones? Looks like she already has a cold frosty one. They all do.
Great day to get some sun out in the bleachers. The real field of dreams.
Fenway Park. Strike one on Ramirez. Manny walked and scored in the second, struck out in the third. Rounder foul. Walker's now retired 5 in a row. His best streak of the ball game. Well, this is the kind of weather you expect on the 4th of July. It's supposed to be hot, and sticky, but does it have to be this hot?
This is an official heat wave now in Boston, right? 3 days of 90-degree weather plus.
With the Triple H's.
I guess it's supposed to break later on this evening. Somebody's drying out their socks, it looks like.
I think the other camera people in that area appreciate the sweaty socks being dried out. Ramirez called out on strikes. I mean, if you do that up here, I don't think we would appreciate that, your fellow booth personnel.
Fastball picking up the outside corner to strike out Manny for the second time today. I have no socks on today. Neither one of us do.
But you could do that on any one of your 62 fans that you have up here. That's. I would assume that. I would assume you need the permission of your neighbor out there.
Sean, remember a time when we started in this business, we worked in that area down there, and it is quite uncomfortable.
Yes, it is. Broadcast booth before they built the 600 Club, Brian Daubach took a strike. He used to be right at the top of the screen at what is now the base of the 600 Club, and all that remains of that booth is a smaller version of it for the home plate cameras. There was no air conditioning down there. It was a tin box. Great. Police officer wasn't paying attention and almost had a very unfortunate incident with that foul ball. This would not have been good at all right here. Ding.
Oh, no.
No, everything's well. Then he did kind of duck into the shade, maybe away from the glare of the public here.
Hell, not only bulletproof vest, but probably needs the cup too to go along with that.
That's excellent analysis. I'm not sure it was necessary, but it was excellent analysis. Yeah, you want to tell us straight?
No, I'll stay away from that. We're just trying to bring everything we possibly can here from the ballpark.
Daubach just struck out and walked. It was an intentional walk. But that booth was a great vantage point, much lower, and you really heard the noise of the crowd. You could feel the energy from the crowd. Not quite the same up here. Ball hit into the corner. Daubach a wide turn, but it was played cleanly by Stewart along the line. So Daubach holds with a 2-out single, ending Walker's string in a row. He had retired 6 Red Sox batters consecutively, and Daubach continues to come up with regular base hits on this homestand, particularly in this series. That's 3 games in a row now with a hit, and Brian is 5 for his last 10. Here's Hillenbrand, 0 for 2. He did score a run when he reached on a fielder's choice in the second. It's the 5th hit for the Red Sox. Hillenbrand makes it 6. Single in the straightaway center. Daubach to second. So back-to-back 2-out hits. The Red Sox try to get something done in this inning.
Neither base hit exactly crushed. The one in Daubach to the opposite field. That's toward the end of the back from Hillenbrand, but the Red Sox trying to get something done with 2 outs. Maybe put a couple of points up on the board.
Jason Varitek.
You were out on your boat this morning, huh?
Yeah, a little spin this morning. Even at 8 o'clock in the morning, Jerry, out on the harbor, it was very hot. There's not any breeze at all, even on the water. And the water was as smooth as I've ever seen it out there. Just flat as glass.
A lot of security out.
Not that we know. So we didn't go over near the Charles River where they're going to have the festivities tonight. There are a lot more restrictions in that area than there are usually. Corey Thurman and Felix Heredia.
A lot of security here at the ballpark today. They had the dogs out sniffing around, and we had helicopters circling earlier from the Coast Guard.
Did the dogs go near those socks in the camera pit?
Distracted them, maybe.
Probably had to bring in a new dog if the first dog went up into that booth.
But certainly a lot of security today around the city of Boston. A lot of the roads closed off.
Pete Walker's thrown 83 pitches. Jason Varitek, the batter. Of course, the 4th of July, always a very special day, but in light of what happened on September 11th and the change in the world since then, perhaps even added significance for all Americans today.
And our congratulations to Russ Kent, who put together a very nice opening segment to our Open today, talking just about those things and how baseball makes everybody feel better. Terrific job.
There's 10-year-old Lindsey Brown, who was our narrator. Luke Grenier, one of our technicians, did the guitar playing. Deep drive to right by Varitek. Caught at the wall by Cruz. Apparently mentally isn't quite into it. He was ready to fire the ball back in, then realized it's the 3rd out of the inning. So Varitek just missed a 3-run homer. It's a long fly ball out. The Red Sox strand 2. They've left 6 after 5. 4-4 the score. Today on Fox 25 News at 4:30, Maria Stefanos has all the news of the day, including team coverage of all of today's 4th of July celebrations. Plus, are you tired of the heat? I think I know the answer to that. Fox's chief meteorologist Kevin Lemanowitz will give us a refreshing holiday weekend forecast, we hope. And Nemois Delaney goes shopping to find plus-size outfits for fashion-forward teens that turn their wardrobe from dull to dazzling. That's today after the game on Fox 25 News at 4:30. They've estimated the heat index on the field at about 115 degrees. They have a thermometer in Canvas Alley in the shade right now. That's 102. So in the sun on the field, it's warmer than that. Yeah, the humidity. We have young students who are from Toronto, who are students at Harvard, who are here today. Ground ball, Cruz down to first, off him in the Lowe for the out. Cruz hustling in head first, but he's out and is 1 for 3. They tell us it's about 41 Celsius.
So if we go to Toronto next week and it says 41 Celsius, we know it's going to be hot.
It's a golf shirt day for us.
Okay.
We thank
Number 10,
Leslie and
the center fielder,
Tim Mack, who are from Toronto, going to Harvard. Friends of my sister Cara, who's also going to Harvard. So what does that say now?
It was about 108, I think.
It appeared to be under 40 Celsius, which would make sense because if 115 was 41, 42. A little afraid our Harvardians have let us down there for a minute.
That's why when I'm in Toronto, I have to watch the Buffalo station so I know how warm it's going to be.
Double it and add 30. That's my formula.
Double it and add 30.
They say it's going to be 20 today here in Downtown Toronto.
At 70.
Garcia Parra throws him out. Wells is out. Yeah, that's 70. 40 plus 30.
Okay.
70.
Now I know that. I should write that in my book.
Double and add 30. It's not exact, but it's close enough.
number 17, the designated hitter, Josh Bells.
We're told that the official way you're supposed to do is multiply by 5 nights and then add 32.
I can't do that because the day that we had multiplication in school, I was absent.
You only had one day of it?
I missed a few days.
There's Josh Phelps. Had a 2-run single in the 4th. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd. Don't you think double it and add 30 is a lot easier?
Yes.
And believe me, that gets you close enough. I've been using that formula for all the years we've been going to Toronto, and I always feel like I've dressed appropriately based on that formula.
Now that I can handle.
Times 5 ninths plus 32. The good news is it's been like this, I think, just about everywhere in our country this week. You turn on the TV, it's 90 plus everywhere. Strike 3. A 7-pitch inning for Lowe. You have to appreciate that given the conditions. Derek's retired 5 batters in a row now. 2 strikeouts today for Lowe. The game tied at 4.
Emblem of the land I love, the home of the...
The weather certainly is hot. The Red Sox going for their 5th straight win on the heels of a stretch when they dropped 7 out of 8. Taking advantage again of the favorable schedule, the scuffling Toronto Blue Jays in town. And they'll hand the ball over to lefty Felix Heredia. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Nextel Direct Connect. Get right through. Call 1-800-NEXTEL-9.
Now pitching.
Good job by Pete Walker. He allowed only 2 earned runs in 5 innings.
The right fielder, Ron.
Felix Heredia making his 30th appearance of the season. He's already worked twice in this series against the Red Sox. Of course, he came over from the Cubs in that Alex Gonzalez trade last December. 0-1 record. Opponents hitting .278 off the lefty. They got a couple of lefties out of the bullpen. Heredia and of course Air, who has also worked a few times in this series.
That was another salary dump move when they sent Gonzalez off to the Cubs. Heredia to Nixon. Tried a big swing and a foul tip. Nixon looped a 2-run single into right center in the second. He grounded to first to end the third when the Red Sox left the bases loaded. The ball 1-1. Pete Walker pitched 5 innings, allowed 4 runs, 2 earned on 6 hits, walked 3. 1 was an intentional walk. He struck out 5. And he will not suffer his first major league loss today, nor will he pick up a win. Yankees in Cleveland in the 4th inning now at the stadium. 2-1 New York. Raul Mondesi a home run. No homers yet for Tomey. 3-1 the count on Nixon. Bryant Nelson on deck, waiting to hit for the first time. No word yet on why Lou Merlone left the game. Ball 4. I want to go against the standard cliche in this situation, Jerry, and I'm going to say exactly what Carlos Tosca had in mind when he brought him in.
The second baseman.
Yeah, you get lefty against lefty. He puts him on first base with a walk. Let's see now if the Red Sox try to sacrifice and get Nixon in a scoring position. Nelson in his first at bat. Of course, Grady Little sacrifice, not one of his favorite plays, but getting late in the ball game.
Bottom of the 6th. Nelson hitting .240. 6 hits and 25 at bats. He takes a strike. Well, if you're ever going to sacrifice, you would think it might be with this guy who's played very sparingly. The score. Bottom of the 6th. The lead man on. Heredia is 0-2 to Nelson, well outside. Now, if there was ever a day you would think the fans would not want to do the wave, this would be it. They're doing it with some gusto on the 4th of July. Nelson lines one to the left, a base hit. Nixon a second. So a rough start to this outing for Felix Heredia. He's from the Dominican Republic, 27 years old.
Pretty tough pitch right there, too. That ball down and away. And Nelson, I like the job that Nelson has done for the Red Sox. I really do. Move him around. He can play the outfield, the infield. He gives you a tough at bat every time up. Well, let's see if the sacrifice is on now with Damon. Lefty against lefty. Looks like the heat is having an effect on those folks in the bleachers. A lot more empty seats than when the game started.
Yeah, it just has to be unbelievably hot out there. You see all those patches of green empty seats, and as we continue to pan toward right, there are more of them.
Sailors are hanging tough though in their dress whites.
Although their numbers have dwindled a little.
Yeah.
Damon does turn to bunt, bunts it toward first. Delgado to Lawrence. It's a sacrifice. 2 men in scoring position now. That's the 12th sacrifice of the year for the Red Sox and the second for Johnny Damon.
Certainly makes sense there. Lefty against lefty. Not an easy guy for a lefty to hit against. Kind of a sidearm sling delivery. So put on the bunt. 2 men now in scoring position. Johnny going down that first base line. The only option for Delgado is the sure out at first base.
You saw Grady little gesturing toward Mike Cubbage. Ordinarily with 2 men in scoring position, you wouldn't expect a squeeze.
I think what he was doing, Sean, is say go on contact, but don't have to worry about that because they're playing the infield back.
That's interesting.
Trying to prevent against 2 run scoring instead of just the 1.
Offerman took ball 1. Now he pops it up into shallow left center. Falls for a hit. Nelson read it well. He's right behind Nixon. Cubbage had him stopped. And on the throw to the plate that airmailed the cutoff man, Offerman goes to second. Well, that was a tough bit of ground traffic control work for Mike Cubbage because Nelson saw it was going to drop. Nixon was holding to make sure that it did, and Nelson wasn't very far apart from Nixon. And the Blue Jays helped the Red Sox cause again by missing the cutoff man and allowing Offerman to go to second base.
Yep, keeps it away from the double play that could possibly end an inning. Nixon scoring. That's a heck of a job by Mike Cubbage. Mike Cubbage gets an A+ in my book as far as coaching third base so far in a very difficult place to coach.
So Heredia ineffective. Tosca takes the ball from him. He'll go back to the bullpen with the right-handed hitting Garcia Parra coming up. 2 hits today for Offerman and an RBI now for Jose. And the new pitcher for Toronto is Scott Cassidy. 5-4 Boston. They're threatening for more here in the bottom of the 6th.
What's that? It's an old Tacoma. It can't be broken. Nah.
What makes Toyota Tacoma such a great value?
Need a hand?
No. I just wanted to remember where I was when I hit 200,000 miles.
Ask someone you know who drives one.
Thanks, boys.
There's a lot of people out there with a lot of need. Walmart gives us the opportunity to help more people than we'd ever be able to help on our own. They're our friends and our neighbors. Every Walmart down the street and across the country is helping their communities through the Good Works program. With education, the environment, the children always have a special place in my heart. Their eyes tell their whole story, and their faces and their smiles. You just get emotional. I think it brings a tear to your eye to see the difference that you can make. The giving part is what makes you happy.
I take batting practice. I take infield practice. I take Viagra.
Ready to try Viagra for the first time? Ask your doctor if a free sample's right for you and visit Viagra.com for more information.
Step up to the plate and make an appointment to see your doctor.
Well, always eager to help Pedro Martinez.
Oh, that's got to feel good. That's in the camera position, right?
Yeah. Ah, the pause that refreshes. Probably made Pedro's hat a little cooler. You think it was his hat or somebody else's?
Looks like it's his the way it's dripping right there.
Here's Scott Cassidy on for the 33rd time this year.
Cassidy worked in one game in this series, July 2nd, the game 1 of that day night, a blown save, 2/3 of an inning, a hit allowed.
First base open here. Let's see if they intentionally walk Nomar. Take their chances with Manny.
They're just playing the infield halfway up the middle.
This makes no sense to me. I mean, you've got pretty good speed at third base and Nelson. You're down by a run. Any ground ball a second is short. If he's off on contact, there's no contest.
Right, so why play him there?
He's trying to, again, prevent two, try to protect 2 runs instead of giving up just 1.
If you're going to do that, then move him back further, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Out of play to the right, 1-1. But we can say this on behalf of our good friend Buck Martinez. It wasn't his fault when you watch this team play. It wasn't the manager. Garcia Parra rips one to deep center. And it is caught up against the wall by Wells. On to score Nelson. Nomar delivers his second RBI of the ball game, 62nd of the year, and the Red Sox lead 6-4.
It's interesting, Sean, they went after Manny where they had first base open earlier in the ball game. So now they have first base open. They let Nomar hit, and Ramirez is coming to the plate now. You would think that they probably would have walked him, load the bases, take a chance with Manny to get a ground ball double play to get out of the inning.
Then it would make sense to play those middle infielders halfway, double play depth like they were, when there is actually a man on first. We mentioned early in the telecast there have been a lot of bizarre moves by Carlos Tosca, and that's been the case again here today. Here's Manny, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He has struck out twice, trying to deliver. Offerman, look out, and hit right between the numbers.
Nowhere for Manny to go here. He's going to have to take it right off the 2 on his back. Remember earlier there was a pitch up and in on Carlos Delgado earlier in the ball game. First base open there, and all of a sudden Manny gets plucked off the back.
And you've lost 4 in a row to this team. Might not have been one that got away from Cassidy. Here's Daubach. Swing and a miss. Bryan singled down the left field line in the 5th inning, was intentionally walked in the 3rd, struck out in the 2nd. Facing Cassidy, a rookie from Syracuse, New York, pitched in his hometown for their AAA club last year, the Sky Chiefs. He's a diabetic and a graduate of Lemoyne College right there in his hometown of Syracuse. Played for the Dolphins. Got a good baseball program. Dick Rockwell was the coach there for a long time. Jim DeShays pitched at Lemoyne. Tom Browning. Cassidy has his degree in business administration from Lemoyne. Went to Liverpool High School right outside Syracuse. Ahead of Daubach 0-2. And he struck him out that same spot. That ends the inning, but the Red Sox get 2 to recapture the lead after 6-4 Boston.
Two over. I wasn't ready. What's wrong with you? It's deuce. Focus.
Good game. What?
Nothing, Mom.
Now that's refreshing. Doc's hard lemon flavored malt beverage.
So how is your...
It hurts.
5% alcohol by volume.
Just let the clutch out slowly. Easy.
I'll never get the hang of a stick shift.
Hang on. Why don't you just pull in over there?
That was easy.
Nothing says summer like the return of lobster rolls to McDonald's. We're talking 100% real succulent lobster on a delicious roll. But hurry, because like summer, this offer won't last long.
Ford authorized clearance. Now get 0% financing for up to 60 months. That's 0% on the vehicles that'll rock your world. Like Ford Explorer, the #1 selling SUV on the planet. F-150, the #1 selling truck for 25 straight years. And Focus, one of car drivers' 10 best. 0% Ford authorized clearance now.
Back at Fenway, the Red Sox have just reclaimed the lead with 2 runs in the 6th inning. They lead 6-4 as we go to the top of the 7th. Let's check the scoreboard, brought to you by your friendly New England Dodge dealers. The Yankees have scored a run in the 6th, and they're still batting, leading the Indians now 3-1. Chuck Finley and Mike Messina, the starters. Derek Jeter left that game in the 3rd inning with a bruised left leg. He was taken to a hospital for evaluation. Raul Mondesi has hit a home run. Elsewhere, the rest of the action in the American League is later on. The Twins and the Mariners play tonight. Are in Colin against Garcia. The Tigers and the White Sox. Sparks versus Wright. Tampa Bay at Texas. Alvarez against Bell. Baltimore is at Anaheim. Driscoll and Napier will be the starting pitchers, and Kansas City is at Oakland. In the National League, one afternoon game. Brewers have just scored 3 in the top of the 5th to tie up the Reds at 3-3. 2-run single in that game for Juan Encarnacion. Expos and the Phillies will be underway in about 5 minutes. There's another strike to Huckabee. Houston and Pittsburgh will play in a little over an hour. Later this evening, New York and Florida. Al Leiter will be on the mound for the Mets, going for his 9th win. San Francisco at Arizona. Jason Schmidt against Brian Anderson. The Dodgers and the Cardinals, and Chicago and Atlanta. The rest of the National League action. Nelson throws out Huckabee, who is now 0 for 3. Derek Lowe has retired 6 straight Blue Jay hitters. Has had just a 1 rough inning, the 4th, when Toronto scored 4 runs on 4 hits.
Number 6.
4 of their 7 hits came in the 4th.
Joe Lawrence.
Scoreboard brought to you by your friendly New England Dodge dealers. Here's Joe Lawrence, 0 for 2 with an RBI on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Turned to bunt. It's a strike. Lowe working quickly at a 7-pitch inning last inning. That one's close but a ball. 1-1. Ball 2 low. Lawrence is from Lake Charles, Louisiana. They have some days like this down there. He was a 1st-round pick of the Blue Jays in the June '96 draft. 16th player taken in the entire draft. Had a chance to go to LSU, a great college program on a baseball scholarship, but turned it down to sign with Toronto. He's 25 years old. Foul ball and a full count. And a happy 4th for that young fan. Lou Merlone left the game with a sore right ankle, an injury suffered last night. He's listed as day-to-day. There's a ground ball to short. Oh, it took a late hop right up into the midsection of Garcia Parra. And Lawrence is safe. Looked like it was going to just keep skipping right around the ground, and then at the last bounce, it bounced up into his midsection. But they've still charged him with an error. Out.
The shortstop.
It happens, Sean, on these very warm days. That infield really gets baked as this time goes on in the afternoon, and gets chewed up quite a bit, and you don't get some of the best hops.
So Garcia Parra charged with the error. His team high 13th of the season. That's far and away the most on the team.
He got a tough one here last night. Ball up the middle. Had to go ranging to his left, spin around, and the ball popped out as he tried to make the transfer, and it was ruled an error. That's a tough one to get.
Dave Berg, the hitter. Now the tying run at the plate. Outside, evening the count at 1-1. Berg singled in the first. 1 for 3. 6 runs, 8 hits, and an error now for Boston. 4 runs, 7 hits, and an error for Toronto. And hit him on the left arm, it seemed, perhaps just above the elbow. So an error and a hit batsman. And the Blue Jays suddenly have the tying run at first. Their big bats coming up. Tony Cloninger going to the mound. Alan Embry, who's been tremendous since coming to the Red Sox. Actually, he's been tremendous all season. Even before he came to the Red Sox. Outstanding with San Diego, too. He's warming up in the bullpen.
I think what's happening today, Sean, is these pitches, that sweat's just rolling down their arm, and I think they're having a difficult time controlling the baseball. Wakefield said the other day that he wore a T-shirt, a long sleeve shirt on. He's hot as it was in that first game of the day-nighter, only to try to keep that sweat from pouring down on his hands and his fingers.
He said it was as hot as it has ever been for him on the field at Fenway. He spent time on the runway between innings just to get out of the dugout.
Number 11.
Here's Wakefield, who gave the Red Sox a terrific start. The day game Tuesday in the doubleheader. So here is Eric Hinske, the go-ahead run at the plate. He had an infield hit his last time up. Grounded into a double play in the first. They've hit into 3 double plays already. And plate umpire Bill Miller asked Lowe to move the rosin bag away from his feet. In the dirt, blocked by Veritek. Let's pause for station identification. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on WABI TV Bangor.
The 1-0 from Lowe. Hit in the air in right. Nixon there. He makes the catch. Back to tag Lawrence. He's on to third with 2 down. Sean McDonough with Jerry Remy. We're at Fenway Park for the 4th of July. The Red Sox looking for a sweep of this 5-game series with the Blue Jays. Our telecast produced by Russ Ken. Directed by John Wilson. Associate producer today, Leo White. Dave Bauman, Elizabeth Hassan, Bob Qua assisting us here in the booth. Shannon Stewart, the batter, 2 for 3 with 2 singles and a double play grounder. He has scored a run and stolen a base. Dave Bauman's parents, by the way, are in town today.
I'm very disappointed they couldn't get to the game today.
Yeah, they're very nice people. We always look forward to seeing them on their annual pilgrimage to our great city from their home in Rochester, New York. They're watching the game with their other son Alex today, who's at work.
They have a lot to do in a very short period of time, so they couldn't get over here today.
One and one. Are you going to the Esplanade tonight? I know how you like crowds and big public events.
I don't think so, Sean. I think I'm going to go home and kind of relax a little bit, watch it on television.
Stay in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Maybe pop in a movie.
I'm going to watch. I watch all the ceremonies tonight. As soon as I leave here, I'm just going to get out of the car when I get home and sprint to the pool and jump in.
In your full Fox 25 uniform?
Why not?
Kind of wacky, but there's kind of a zany side of you that every now and then comes out. A strike. 2-2 on Stewart. First and third and 2 outs. Lowe trying to protect a 2-run lead. You'd have to think this would be his last inning, maybe even his last batter here, Jerry. Stewart reaches and keeps it going with Delgado on deck. Embry ready.
And under these conditions, it would be asking an awful lot to get one more inning out of Lowe.
He's pitched into the 7th inning yet again today, trying to end his 2-game personal losing streak. His 2-2 to Stewart. It gets away from Varitek. It's strike 3, says the home plate umpire. Varitek to first. Safe on a bang-bang play. And a run scores to make it 6-5. No, it took Stewart a minute to realize that it was strike 3. He was lingering near the batter's box. Finally, Bill Miller said, no, that's strike 3. So he took off. Varitek took off, running back to the backstop to retrieve it. That will be the last batter of the ball game for Derek Lowe. And a bizarre play on which to end.
See, the normal desire of the hitter is not to want to go on that. You don't want to feel like you struck out, so he's looking around for a sign. He finally gets it, and Varitek almost was able to get him at first base. There's the ball getting away from Varitek. He finally finds it. See how long it took Stewart to get going. And the throw just a little bit late.
Gentlemen, your attention, please.
It's a strikeout, a wild pitch, no RBI. It's 6-5. And Alan Embry will be the new pitcher. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network.
Viking Lumber.
David, this is Larry. Can I get a lift of lumber brought over right now? David, can I get that as soon as possible?
At Viking Lumber, old-fashioned service includes fast delivery right to the worksite.
Viking delivers Owens Corning shingles. Owens Corning shingles offer enduring beauty and performance. Owens Corning, we know homes.
Viking Lumber. Call us old-fashioned. We'll say thanks.
David, I forgot. I also need some more nails.
Ask anybody how it feels. Ask anyone who's driving one. Find out what the deal is.
Toyota's announced the lowest financing ever on 2002 Camry sedans. Financing as low as 2.9% APR. You could save up to $1,500 or get the lowest lease ever on Camry LE, only $239 a month for 48 months with just $15.99 due at signing. Hurry, the summer 2002 sales event ends July 31st.
Have a good workout.
Come here. Come here.
I'm taking my folic acid.
Well, hovering just overhead of Fenway Park, the United States Coast Guard helicopter circling the ballpark as Alan Embry warms up. It looks like the helicopter that circled overhead before the game while the Dogs were on the field sniffing around Fenway Park.
Seventh appearance for Embry. Picked up 2 saves in the day-night doubleheader. Got Delgado twice in the first game and second game, twice total. And if they're going to wait for this helicopter to leave, they might be waiting a while.
Delgado seemed distracted by it. Stepped out of the batter's box, turned around and looked up at the chopper. Delgado has walked twice and struck out. He has scored. And he hits it in the air and left. Getting a little help from the breeze. Dahlbach in the corner makes a nice running catch. And that preserved the lead for the Red Sox. Berg would have scored the tying run with ease had that one dropped. So Lowe is in position for a win if the bullpen can protect a 6-5 lead at the 7th inning stretch on the 4th of July.
There's only one place to go when you want to see a baseball game.
Only one place to go when you want to ride the most famous boats in Boston.
And when you want to buy furniture in Boston,
you have an alternative. Bernie and Phil's Furniture.
The quality brand name furniture you'll see elsewhere, but priced like nowhere else.
Bernie and Phil, quality, comfort, and price. That's nice.
At the Driving is Believing Challenge, we covered up the identity of a Hyundai Sonata, Car A, and a Camry, Car B, and gave over 500 people a test drive. I chose Car A. Drivers preferred the Sonata to the Camry 2-to-1.
I would definitely pick the Hyundai over the Toyota.
When we told them the Sonata costs thousands less and comes with the freedom of America's best warranty, that settled it.
I want that car.
Get the Sonata for $16,499 during our Hyundai Summer Sell Down.
Boston Red Sox baseball on Fox 25 is brought to you by Bernie & Phil's, named 2002 Retailer of the Year by the National Home Furnishing Association. And by Dunkin' Donuts. Escape to a cooler place with a cold, refreshing iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. Well, the Red Sox with little work to do to complete the 5-game sweep of Toronto. They lead 6-5 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. On tape moments ago, the players all standing at attention with the rest of the crowd during the 7th inning stretch as Rich Giglio on our Fenway Park organ played God Bless America. So we go to the bottom of the 7th, a little extra time to warm up for Scott Cassidy because his warm-up time was diminished by the playing of God Bless America.
How about Wally down there greeting fans above the third base dugout? You think Wally's a little warm today? All that fur?
There can't be a great day to be Wally. We thank the Red Sox for our patriotic beanbag Wally, which was given out to fans today. And we got a little mini Wally with the American flag in his hand. Kind of commercializing Wally a little there. You hate to see that, you know, an institution like Wally. But Wally, I think, got a big money deal from Cracker Jack to do that.
He's been throwing a lot of stuff like into the stands the last couple of nights.
Yeah, when you're as popular as Wally, you get off for those endorsement deals. It's tough to turn them down.
He's got an agent now, I heard.
Shea Hillenbrand, the leadoff man here in the 7th. The Red Sox trying to pad a 6-5 lead. Shea 1 for 3. He singled in the 5th. Scored a run after reaching on a fielder's choice in the 2nd. Cassidy came in last inning and did a good job. The 2 runs last inning scored by the Red Sox were charged to Felix Heredia. Hillenbrand, Veritek, and Nixon due up. Hit sharply on the ground, but right at Joe Lawrence. On to Delgado for the out. Derek Lowe's pitching line is brought to you by Lowe's. How appropriate is that? Improving home improvement. Derek went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 5 runs, walked 2 and struck out 3. He threw 91 pitches, 54 of them strikes. We invite you to look for 2 new Lowe's locations, Lowe's of Woburn and Lowe's of Weymouth. His grand opening was yesterday. Jason Veritek just missed hitting a 3-run homer last time up. He sent Cruz up against the wall and right. Jason 0 for 2 with a bases loaded walk for an RBI back in the 3rd. He's in the hole here against Cassidy, 0 2. I heard a report, I don't know if this is true, but Barry Manilow, I believe, is performing tonight on the Esplanade.
Wow. Yeah, he was there warming up yesterday. They had that rehearsal last night at the Esplanade. I guess people are invited in. There wasn't a large crowd because of the heat, but they could watch him prepare their routines for the big show tonight.
He's very popular, particularly among women.
Well, he's wrote a lot of terrific songs. I'm not a big Manilow fan myself, but...
You're not? 1-2 pitch. Slapped away to the left.
The thing I'm hoping for this weekend, Sean, is the Days of Our Lives crew is going to be on the South Shore on Saturday night. A number of them, about 5 or 6 of them. There's some festival down on the South Shore, and I'm hoping they come to the ballpark either tomorrow night or maybe Saturday afternoon.
Hopefully tomorrow night on a Fox 25 game.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Is Christian Alfonso still on the show?
Yes. But in real life, she's pregnant right now, so she probably won't be back here. I didn't see her name on the list.
In fake life, she is not pregnant?
No.
Is she off the show then?
No, not yet.
Bring up the fact that she's pregnant on the show.
No, but they hide her. Everything is taped from like the neck up. So she'll be off pretty soon for a while. But I
We'll
hope
find some realistic way to have her off the show for a while, like Martians.
Yeah, something's crazy is going to happen. They
took her away.
Matter of fact, they just had a meteor attack yesterday.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay?
Some question.
Berg throws out Veritek. 2 outs.
But if they're in town, I hope they show up at the ballpark.
Well, they should call you up. Maybe you can leave them some tickets. We'll send your
Number 7,
driver for them.
The right fielder, Trot Nixon.
Here's Trot Nixon with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 7th. Trot singled to drive in 2 in the 2nd. Walked leading off last inning and scored the go-ahead run. Red Sox added another run last inning. Cassidy threw ball 1. Well hit down the right field line, in line with the pole. It'll be close. It'll be gone. A home run. Trot Nixon goes deep, his 9th home run of the season. And the lead's back to 2. It's 7-5 Red Sox.
That's Trot's reaction. I think he points towards fair territory. Stay fair. Big afternoon. 3 RBI for Nixon. 33 total on the season. Big home run there. Give the Red Sox again that 2-run lead. Wasn't quite the Carlton Fisk move, but he had a little point toward fair territory.
First homer of the day for the Red Sox. How about our guy Tom up there on the roof? We mentioned earlier how hot it was up on the left field roof, and he did a perfect job of following that fly ball.
He hasn't lost concentration in the heat.
I think he has the sunscreen out there today. Now to play to the left. Nelson came into the ball game when Merlone left with a sore ankle. Singled and scored last inning. Nixon's homer, the first hit given up by Cassidy. He's pitched an inning and a third of relief. First run charged to him. He gets the benefit of the borderline pitch. That ends the inning. After 7, Red Sox 7, Toronto 5. This is the Fox 25 Red Sox television network.
One of the reasons Wilbur Hughley likes dealing with a Maine family business like Hammond Lumber is the experience of the folks who work there. Folks who really know what they're doing and who understand their company, their community, and the needs of their customers. As Wilbur likes to say it, that's the kind of experience a person can build on. Find out for yourself at any Hammond store or online at hammondlumber.com. And please tell them Wilbur sent you.
For 15 years, D&K has made thousands of people, thousands of satisfied customers. Take advantage of D&K's famous 100% bumper-to-bumper warranty. D&K is the pre-owned vehicle mega store with a huge selection of 2000s and 2001 models that still have factory warranties. D&K in Farmingdale, just 3 miles south of the State Capitol building. Why not get a great vehicle with a 100% bumper-to-bumper warranty and save thousands?
That's right, Dad. You can't afford it if you go to D&K.
In our town, 5 p.m. is a busy time. Basketball practice is running late. Someone needs a ride home. Plans are made and canceled. There are exams to study for. And there's always one last thing to pick up. It's 5 p.m. and wherever life takes you, we'll be there, ready to help, anytime you need us. Hey, Unicel, part of life here.
Boston Red Sox baseball on Fox 25 is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares, and by your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. A glum Scott Cassidy looking on. John Nixon just took him deep. Been a tight game since the 4th inning. The Red Sox jumped ahead 4-0, but Blue Jays got 4 in the 4th, and it's been close since. Jose Cruz will lead off against Alan Embry, who came in the last inning with a couple of men on and got Carlos Delgado to fly out to end the inning. And after 6 2/3 from Derek Lowe. Derek in position for his 12th win of the season. I wonder if this outing today would make any difference in the mind of Joe Torre when deciding who the starter would be.
I would hope not. He'd be lined up perfectly to make that start.
Yeah, plenty of rest. Pedro Martinez with the All-Star break is going to wind up with 7 days of rest between starts, between his last start prior to the break and his first start after.
One more start on Saturday. Excuse me, Sean. On Saturday here against Detroit, Jeff Weaver will be his opposing pitcher. And then it's off for about a week for Pedro, which is a good thing.
.97 miles per hour, but a ball. 1-2 on Cruz. Cruz, Wells, and Phelps due up. That'll be a terrific matchup. Pedro and Jeff Weaver. Weaver's had a very good season for Detroit, even though the team is struggling. He's in the top 10 of the league in ERA. Two and two. A bunt hit and a run scored by Cruz during that 4-run 4th. Yankees now lead Cleveland 4-1. They're in the 7th. Full count now. No, Raul Mondesi drove in another run. Ground rule double to drive in Bernie Williams. So 2 ribbies in that game for Mondesi. Diagnosis on Derek Jeter: a sprained left knee and a bruise on his lower leg. He's listed as day-to-day. Popped up in the direction of Garcia Parra. Cruz dispatched for the first out of the 8th. Maybe that's what Mondesi needed, a little change of scenery, shake him up a little bit, get into a winning situation.
Yeah, I don't think he was very happy. I mean, I think he liked his teammates here, but he had a couple of run-ins with Oscar about being late. Was fined, I think, a couple of times. And, you know, he's going to go to New York. He's going to be surrounded by that atmosphere. And I'm quite confident he's going to play very well for him. Mondesi's a good player.
Yes, he is. Not having a very good year in terms of the batting average.
He can run, he can throw, he can hit with power.
Vernon Wells hit by a pitch in the 2nd, single to knock in a run, and he scored during their 4-run 4th. He grounded to short in the 6th. 1 out of the 8th, 7-5 Boston. On the ground to Nomar. 2 outs. Nomar's had a busy day. Kept busy on all the ground balls induced by Lowe.
Number 17, the designated hitter, Josh Phelps.
Here's Josh Phelps as Embry looks for a 1-2-3 inning. Phelps 1 for 3. He had a 2-run single in the 4th. He struck out and grounded into a double play. Foul to the screen. 1 strike on Phelps. He's a catcher. They have 4 guys who can play catcher on their roster. Phelps was born in Alaska. Went to high school in Indiana. Now lives in Idaho. Stepped into that swing and missed it. 0-2.
Only seen him, Sean, for a couple of days, but I've been pretty impressed with his swing. He looks like a guy that's going to be able to hit some home runs.
The 0-2 pitch. Embry fielded right by him with a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. First strikeout for Alan Embry. A 1-2-3 inning in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Red Sox 7 and the Blue Jays 5.
Pick up the DVD with extra special features. The blockbuster that captured 2 Academy Awards.
Let's go! Let's go!
Is the must-own DVD for your movie library.
We're going home!
Black Hawk Down. Buy it now on DVD.
Ford authorized clearance. Now get 0% financing for up to 60 months. That's 0% on the vehicles that'll rock your world. Like Ford Explorer, the #1 selling SUV on the planet. F-150, the #1 selling truck for 25 straight years. And Focus, one of car drivers' 10 best. 0% Ford authorized clearance now.
We call it Slugfest for a reason. MLB Slugfest 2003. Rated everyone who said baseball isn't a contact sport.
Another strong outing for Alan Embry. He's pitched an inning in the 3rd. The Blue Jays have not had a runner reach base against him. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, Carlos Tosca trying to keep it a 2-run deficit for his Blue Jays. Turns to his closer, Kelvin Escobar.
14 saves on the season. Opponents hitting 247. Escobar making his first appearance of this series. They have not had to use him, and not only getting some work in, but as Sean mentioned, trying to keep this a 2-run ball game.
Scott Cassidy pitched an inning in 2/3 of relief, gave up 1 run on 1 hit. The Nixon homer, he hit a batter and struck out 2. So now Escobar, the 4th pitcher of the day for the Blue Jays. Walker started, went 5. Heredia, a 1/3 of an inning. Cassidy and now Escobar. Here's Johnny Damon, top of the order against Escobar. Close, but a ball. Escobar's name's come up in some trade rumors. Recent item had the Anaheim Angels interested in acquiring him as a setup man for Troy Percival.
Angels in 2nd place in the West, 4 games behind Seattle. They have 34 losses on the season, so they are certainly the team that would be in a wild card hunt.
Damon pops it back here.
Anaheim Angels are tied with the Yankees for the best batting average in the American League at 279 going in today's game. They're 4th in pitching and they're 5th in defense. So
you almost forget they got off to a dreadful start. Swing and a miss, 2-2 on Damon. The Blue Jays traded Billy Koch, the former closer, with the thought that Escobar could be the closer. He's had enough up and down ride this year in that role. Has closed before in his career. He's also been used regularly as a starter. Zay Offerman, who's had a good day, is on deck. Payoff pitch to Damon. He walked him. So Johnny's on for the 2nd time. The fifth walk given up by Toronto pitchers, and they've hit a batter. The game summary brought to you by our good pals at Dunkin' Donuts. Nothing gets you going like the smooth, mellow taste of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Red Sox had a 4-0 lead after 3 with Derek Lowe on the mound. It looked like it might be a breeze on this warm holiday afternoon where we'd all appreciate a breeze. But Toronto got 4 runs in the fourth to tie it up. It's been a tight one ever since. A good day for Offerman. Garcia Parra's driven in 2. Nixon has homered. And Offerman looking to add to that good day. Drives it to left center. Wells the catch in the middle of the warning track. Damon most of the way to second. Returns to first with 1 out.
Brennan Wells, very impressive in center field. He looks like a good young player for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's been in the minor leagues the last couple of years. They're just waiting for the right spot. Covers an awful lot of ground. This ball looked like it was headed to the gap, but Brennan Wells, fearless to the wall coming up, makes the catch.
Earlier in the year, Buck Martinez, when he was still a manager, was singing the praises of Wells as a defensive player. Here's Garcia Parra, who's driven in 2 today. An RBI double in the third and a sacrifice fly to knock in another run in the 6th. Sends that down the right field line. Slicing near the pole. That ball is gone. An opposite field home run for Garcia Parra. Looked like a routine pop fly down the line. He just kept carrying and kept slicing over near the pole. And all of a sudden, it's a Fenway homer, a 2-run homer. 4 runs batted in for Nomar today, giving him 64 for the year. And the Red Sox have a little breathing room now. It's 9-5.
Yeah, that didn't exactly get your heart beating when it left the bat. You looked like it was going to be probably a routine fly ball out, and it just makes its way to the first row. Out of those seats behind the pesky bowl. You take it.
Breaking ball, strike to Ramirez. So a big day for Nomar. 4 runs batted in, a homer, a double, a sacrifice fly. A 6-game hitting streak for Garcia Parra. Ramirez has been walked and hit by a pitch and struck out twice. He rolled it down to third. Hinsky threw him out. Urbina had been warming up in the bullpen, along with Willie Banks, and Wayne Gomes up now. So apparently Gomes will come in now that it's no longer a save situation. Gomes recently up from Pawtucket. Got the win last night in relief of John Burkett. The ball low to Brian Daubach. 1 for 3 with a single, 2 strikeouts, and an intentional walk. The Red Sox have 9 runs on 10 hits, 1 error, 5-7 and 1 for the Jays. And barring the nightmarish 9th inning for the Red Sox, they will complete a sweep of a 5-game series for just the 5th time in their history. A ball and a 3-0 count.
5-game series here after the All-Star break. They open up with a 4-game series at Sky Dome in Toronto against the Blue Jays.
Fastball for a strike. And if this stands, it'll be the Red Sox 10th straight win against Toronto. Lost the first meeting on opening day of this season between the two teams. The Jays came from 4 runs down to win it, but the Red Sox have won 10 in a row against this team since, if this one stands. The 9-game streak against Toronto, their longest ever against this team. Over the last 2 years, the Red Sox have won 21 of the last 29 with Toronto. Last time the Red Sox swept a 5-game series at Fenway Park, or anywhere for that matter, was August 25th through the 28th of 1989. The Tigers were the victims. Ball 4. 2 walks in the inning for Escobar.
One of the things about Escobar as far as the close, a lot of walks. 25 walks now he has in 39 and 2/3 innings.
He's a guy who's got to be a little frustrating now to the Blue Jays organization, their fans. You see the talent, got a good arm, keep waiting for him to get more out of the ability, and it just doesn't seem to happen.
And they've tried everything, starting him as a closer. And the second time around, I believe, as a closer.
Hillenbrand pulls it down to third. Hinsky looked at second, but Lawrence was a long way from the bag, so he threw to first for the out. Red Sox add 2 on the Garcia-Parra home run. They go to the 9th. The Red Sox 3 outs away from a 5-game sweep of the Jays on the 4th.
Fade. What are you guys doing? Fleet home link. Yeah, I think I got that.
You pay bills with it?
Nah, too busy.
You transfer funds, Mike?
About check balances. I don't do that either.
I
pay
think you're
bills.
scared, Mike.
I'm
That's what I'm gathering right
you
now.
can take whatever you got. Take whatever you got.
Listen, it's not that hard. All you have to do here, and then here. When you're done, Mike.
That's it. That's it. The bill's paid. That's easy.
Pretty simple, huh?
Okay, I was nervous. I wasn't scared. I was just nervous. Do we high five now?
This is the TD Waterhouse investment site. A crystal ball, it isn't. But the research and information you find here will help you make an investment decision you can be confident in. You want a fortune teller? Go to the circus. You want information you can trust? TD Waterhouse.
TD Waterhouse. You're in control.
Hey, he isn't with Men in Black.
Poser.
What happened?
So I says bring home some tangerines. This genius is.
Trampoline.
Clean up on aisle 3.
It's the cellular static. Here, Sprint built the largest all-digital, all-PCS nationwide network from the ground up, so your calls are clear.
Thank you.
That ain't gonna grow back.
Men in Black 2 in theaters July 3rd. 4,000 minutes for $39.99 from Sprint.
Oh, that was rich.
Big day for Nomar Garcia-Parra. 4 runs batted in, leading the Red Sox to a 9-5 lead as we go to the 9th. Red Sox trying to wrap up this 5-game sweep of the Blue Jays. And they'll turn to the newcomer, Wayne Gomes, to try to get the last 3 outs.
Picked up the win in the game yesterday here at Fenway. Pitched an inning, allowing a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Got a big double play to get out of his inning. Of course, Gomes coming up from Pawtucket just a couple of days ago. Major League time with the Giants and most of his time with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Alan Embry pitched an inning in a third, retired all 4 batters he faced. Derek Lowe is the pitcher of record for the Red Sox. Pedro Swan is going to pinch hit for Ken Huckabee, the scheduled leadoff batter, who went 0 for 3 today. Swan pinch hitting, up for just the 3rd time this year. He's 0 for 3. Swan, Joe Lawrence due to follow, and then the top of the order, Dave Berg. First pitch from Gomes, a strike. Swan came up after their game this past Sunday from the minors when Chris Woodward went on the disabled list. Swan had been playing for AAA Syracuse. He's in the hole here 0-2. He's a 31-year-old rookie. Appeared as a pinch runner last night, scored his first major league run. Played in 4 major league games for Atlanta in 2000. In the air in center, Damon is there. Looked for a while like that might find a gap, but Johnny able to run it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Joe Lawrence due to hit next, but Tosca sends up another pinch hitter.
Number 15,
Tom Wilson will bat for Lawrence. 248 this season for Wilson. We've seen a lot of action as their catcher this year. 5 homers and 21 runs batted in. Strike 1. Wilson started game 2 of the doubleheader on Tuesday night. He had a good game, went 2 for 4, drove in 2. Bothered by an injured index finger on his right hand that has cost him some playing time lately. 1-1. Two and one. Ball three. Dave Berg scheduled to bat next. Big hack and a miss. Blue Jays have never been swept in a 5-game series. This is just their third such series in their history. Played one against Texas back in 1990, lost 4 out of 5, and they won 3 out of 5 at Oakland in 1995. Pop fly, shallow right center. Damon makes the catch.
Getting those extra couple of runs is huge. It gives Urbina another day, hopefully, that we won't have to pitch in a game. Pitch yesterday after taking a couple off after those 52 pitches over the weekend. Sets him up nicely for the weekend series against Detroit.
Gomes throws a strike to Berg. Dave Berg, 1 for 3, singled in the first, was hit by a pitch in the 7th. Strike 2. The Red Sox are 1 strike away from the 5-game sweep. $32,086, the sellout crowd here on the 4th of July. Perhaps 2/3 of them still here in the sweltering heat. And we'll see at least one more pitch as Berg flicked one foul. Ball high. The Detroit Tigers are in here to start a weekend series tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. We'll have the ball game for you on Fox 25. Grounded to short. Garcia Parra to Offerman for the out that ends the game. A 1-2-3 ninth. For Wayne Gomes, the Red Sox have won 5 straight. They beat Toronto for the 10th straight time. The Red Sox are now 29-8 this season against their fellow members of the American League East. 9-5 the final totals and more from Fenway on the 4th of July in a moment.
How much do people love their Toyota Tundras? Ask someone you know who drives one.
Some forests are national parks. Some forests are nature preserves. This forest is a water fountain. Poland Spring natural spring water comes from protected springs deep in the woods of Maine. It's why Poland Spring just may be the best tasting water on Earth. Poland Spring, what it means to be from Maine.
Boston Red Sox baseball on Fox 25 is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. By your friendly New England Dodge dealers, grab life by the horns, go Dodge. By Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By your New England Toyota dealer. What makes Toyota the best value? Ask someone who drives one. By Lowe's, improving home improvement. And by your New England Ford dealers. For the best selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the planet, visit your local New England Ford dealers or log on to newenglandford.com. The totals for today's game: for Boston, 9 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, and 9 men left. For Toronto, 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and 5 runners stranded. The winning pitcher, Derek Lowe, now 12-4. It's his league leading 12th victory of the season. And the next good news that he is likely to receive, at least we hope, is that he'll be the starting pitcher for the All-Star team, the American Leaguers, on Tuesday night in Milwaukee. Felix Heredia took the loss, 0-2. Time of the game, 2 hours and 42 minutes before 32,086. They watch the Red Sox complete the 5-game sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays. The Red Sox now 51-31, while Toronto drops to 33-50. They're a season high 17 games below the 500 mark. Trot Nixon with the only home run of this ball game, and Nomar Garcia-Parra drove in 4 for the Red Sox. Once again, the final score: Boston 9 and Toronto 5. This is the Fox 25 Red Sox Television Network.